What were some of the first things that you tried that year? You were like, I'm going to try and get people to hear my music. I know you mentioned playlisting and you landed on Facebook ads, but like, what was the journey of that year like?
I think the first big bulk of things was hiring random Spotify playlists. That was definitely the biggest chunk of it, because that is what gave me like the most immediate results. You spend $300 on some random playlist company and you get X amount of streams pretty fast. And so that's what I ended up. I probably spent $3,000 or $4,000 that year Spotify playlisting. Bunch of different companies. I won't name names so that no
You
one
can if you want.
can.
You don't have to.
I'll tell you privately later if you want to know. But
That's fair.
I don't want company, being salty with me.
Yeah.
Some of them are good. Some companies are like, they're doing a real service. It's just playlisting in general is kind of a hit or miss thing in all the cases.
Yeah.
But some of them were definitely shady AF. And like there was one company that they weren't doing a playlisting. They claimed they had some giant email list or whatever. But this was a reputable company. Like I hired them previously to design my logo. And it came out great. So I was like, cool, I'll hire them for this Spotify playlist or Spotify promotion thing they had. And they're like, we'll get you, I think it was 15,000 streams and 500 followers for some price. I forget what it was. It was maybe $500 or something. So it seemed like a pretty good deal considering what a lot of playlist companies would offer, especially where followers are really hard to get. And then I did that and all of those results happened overnight. And so I was like, this is obviously BS. And then exactly 6 months later or exactly a year later, I forget what it was, I lost exactly 500 followers. Like it was like, you look at my follower stats on Spotify, you see like a blip in one day up 500. And then exactly 6 months or a year later, you see a blip down 500. So at some point, and I don't remember the exact timeline, but I released an album, I think it was actually late 2019, by a project called Day/4. It's like a new metal Linkin Park-esque kind of thing.
Nice.
They flew me out to San Francisco, which is really cool, to record in a pretty dope studio, and we dropped this album.
Nice.
And they had a pretty good marketing budget, and they left a good amount of it up to me, because even though I didn't have a ton of music marketing experience, I had something, and they had essentially nothing. So I was like, let's put some money into this playlisting company. Let's put some money into this playlisting company. Let's try some Facebook ads. And I had done Facebook ads a tiny bit before that, but that was the first time I tried using Facebook ads to promote music. And that was the first time a song ever, or any project of mine ever actually did significantly well. To this date, that album has 2.1 million streams. And we promoted it for 2 months or so back in 2019, I think it was. Let me see if I'm not just making that up. Yeah, 2019. The project still, even though we haven't released an album or any songs in 3 years, there's still 27,000 monthly listeners on that project, just because of recurring algorithmic playlists and listeners that keep listening over the past 3 years. 50% of those streams are recurring listeners, and then 40%
That's awesome.
is algorithmic from all the promotion we did in 2019. And so because of it was a mix of playlist ads and playlisting and Facebook ads. And we did the Submit Hub back then as well. That was another thing I tried throughout that year too. But I kind of saw the promise in what the Facebook ads could do, because we were just trying so many things, promoting music video, promoting a song, trying to go on Instagram, trying to Facebook. And so I started trying that out with my own music too, because I also had some singles for my solo music releasing then, and I had an album of mine dropping, I think, relatively around the time that band's album was dropping. And it didn't do phenomenally well, but it did well enough where I was like, I'm gonna spend next year, 2020, skipping all the playlisting, skipping all the PR stuff, and just doing ads, just kind of an experiment. Because I was like, the playlist thing was cool, but it was kind of this stair-stepping thing where you get on a playlist, you get 20,000 monthly listeners, a month later, you're back to 500 or whatever. And with the ads, I felt more stable. So 2020, I was like, I'm just going to do Facebook ads, and I'll let another year go by, and I'll kind of see what happens. But that's also the time I started talking about it on YouTube, and people started watching those videos. And those were my most successful videos, and other people started trying it and having good results. So then I just kind of kept trying that more and more, and kind of refining it, and then failing a lot, but then making it work.